But we do have to talk about a policy decision that could be coming soon for some folks in the Charlotte area. And this all has to do with parking and kind of coming to terms with what a growing Charlotte might look like for residents in a neighborhood that's kind of touched by that. So we're talking about Dilworth, and there are residents who are undergoing this parking pilot program. Our Anna King has been looking into this. So tomorrow is a deadline for folks living in Dilworth to submit their input on this permit parking program. I'm sorry, there's a lot of P's going on there, so I got to make sure I got my P's right. But this is all pertaining to the fact that the area is developing. You've got more apartments coming in, more people who need places to park, and just making sure that residents have a place to park as well as that growth happens, right?
Yes, and actually that's exactly what's happening here. And one resident that I spoke to kind of broke it down. He said he's been here for years, so he's seen what happened here. So pretty much during the when one of the high-rises apartments were being built, as well as some of the other construction that went on in this area, a lot of the construction workers took up the parking that was available along this stretch, and so residents here didn't have a place to park, and that's what started this whole thing. So the city of Charlotte created a residential parking permit, or RPP, pilot program, where in parts of Dilworth, residents would be able to park for free, pretty much, essentially. So beyond, right now I'm looking at a sign that says 2-hour parking, except by permit. So residents here got a parking permit that allowed them to park here beyond that 2 hours, but everyone else could only park here for 2 hours between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So right now they are asking residents if they want to continue this or keep this permanent, and they asked them this by sending I guess a letter to them in the mail, and residents were asked to return that letter with their vote. Now, the resident that I spoke with said he saw it and, ignored it. And then so they actually sent a second one. And he was like, oh, well, I guess this is serious, and actually decided to submit his vote. But I spoke to another resident that said she had no idea. And so that's the sentiment I'm getting from a lot of these residents here, is that they didn't really know about the vote, or at least the ones that I spoke with didn't really know about the vote. And so they are surprised and now interested to see how this changed, since the voting period is coming to an end here. But the key here is that the returned postcards and a vote yes means that you support keeping the current program operating, but the returned postcard and a vote no obviously means that you want to end the permit program. But here's the thing: if you do not return the postcard at all, the city counts that as a vote no, saying that you do not want to keep the same program, and then so residents here will only be allowed to park here for 2 hours, and that permit will no longer be valid. So that's what a lot of people are shocked now, with me coming to them, asking them questions to learn. So it's really interesting, but that's what's happening here in Dilworth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of fascinated by this as well. I don't live in Dilworth, but I go walk in Dilworth from time to time, so I know what the neighborhood looks like, and I'm kind of, I don't want to say surprised that folks didn't know that this program existed, or maybe didn't have a strong opinion on it. I'm not sure what their opinion is, but one thing I noticed about Dilworth is a lot of people have to park on the street. They don't have a lot of driveways. They don't have a lot of garages in that neighborhood. So this is probably one of the only places that most residents can find parking, is to park on the street in front of their own home. And it's fascinating to me because you mentioned the high rise. There is an apartment complex that I know already exists. There's actually a second one that is under construction across the street from that existing apartment complex, which I know is going to bring more residents. And of course, you're pretty close to South End and like restaurants and bars and stuff. So we know that like the public either will park in Dilworth to go to those locations, or they'll park in Dilworth to go to like Bank of America Stadium for different games or matches. So you would think that residents would want to keep their own parking preserved as much as possible. So did they I'm just curious, when you told folks that this was happening, did they talk about that? Did they talk about the fact that parking was tight, and that they wanted to preserve it now that they know that this program's in place?
Yes, so a lot of people were just, they had the same sentiment as the one resident who really broke down, I guess, the history of the area for me. They were surprised that this was even up for discussion, and so they, of course, were like, "Oh, we need to get our postcards in as soon as possible," knowing that there's now only a few hours left to get that in. But yes, everyone here, it seems, and as you can imagine, would like to keep this current situation going, because I'm mostly in Uptown. That's where I spend a lot of my time, and there you don't know the part, you have to pay for parking unless it's, I guess, the weekend and you're parking on the street. You will have to pay for parking. So I can imagine most of the residents here would like to keep this going. Not to mention, in this neighborhood that I'm in now and that I've been driving around, here in Dilworth, a lot of these are homes, and so a lot of these are like residential homes, and so they'll have their guests over and things like that. Of course, they would like to keep the 2 hour or the parking permit as an option. And so yes, a lot of the residents that I'm speaking with, that is their sentiment, that yes, we would like to keep those, but they need to get their votes in, pretty much.
Well, I'm glad that you're informing the people. As more folks try to get in. Yeah. Well, you're going to put together a report, we know, tonight for our newscast. So as folks, in the effort of being informed, want to learn more about this, what time can we see your reports?
Yes, this will air at 6 tonight. Hopefully you get your votes in before that point.
Yes, indeed. You got to exercise your right to speak up.
Gotta exercise your voice. Yes.
All right, Anna, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.